Ron G Morning Show, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on WSAN Radio. All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is straight up 1 o'clock here on WSAN Radio, the afternoon show edition. And we got a young lady with us who I would say that when I first met her, it was something about her, and I sort of followed her around a Chicago bike, but we talked a little bit, and it was something intriguing about her that I liked. It was something there, and when we finally talked, I told her, "You got it." And a lot of people, what is it? I don't know, but I know you have it. And so we talked for a little bit, and then I turned around and talked to her some more. We met up and talked. And so I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and I'll tell you what else that she's doing. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, young lady?
So, my name is Keyonia Herring. I'm born and raised here in San Antonio, Texas. And for one, thank you, Ron, for allowing me to be on this interview. I'm super excited for that. A little bit about myself. So, I'm actually the founder and CEO of Notary Services here in San Antonio, Texas. I am a mobile notary, and in about 60 days, we'll actually be going virtual. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We actually just got approved to be on the Business Better Bureau. So we just got that accreditation. So super excited for that. I'm actually also a graduate of Prep UAM University with my psychology degree. In December, on the 12th of this year, I actually will be graduating with my master's degree in marketing. So, Black excellence all the way. And most importantly, I'm also the founder of Qulture Market, a market where I host, events for all the creators, from artists to business owners to services, whatever your creation, whatever your art is. I also do those markets. Definitely having something coming soon for Black History Month. So that is definitely in the works. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. And, now I am a proud, co-host for WSAN Radio. Super excited for that because my mentor, Ron, he has definitely taken me under his wings. He sees something in me that I honestly don't see just yet. But as I've been around him these past 3 weeks, I'm seeing it more and more, and I'm just super excited for this journey. So,
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because um, I seen some things in this young lady that she's gonna be a power to be reckoned with in the years coming. And to bring her on board the radio station, I always talk about we need to have youth out there, and we don't have enough youth. I'm old. I'm gonna tell you that right now, but I don't think like the baby boomers. Some of them think as being old, like do as I say as I do. I think I'm a different breed of the baby boomers, but I embrace technology. I love technology, and I want the youth to be there for me. So I asked Keyonia to come aboard WSN Rock Radio, and she accepted very gracefully. And then she said, "What did I do? What did I do?" I said, "Oh, well, I'll let you know what's going on. We'll get together on all that." But I just love her attitude and the way she's coming across with things. And I really do think this is going to be a good fit because she's bringing the youth in. And that's what we need. We need to get the youth prepared to take over where the baby boomers are at. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, the baby boomers, they're dying off. And there's no set block of anybody to take that spot but the youth. And that's what we need to concentrate on is the youth. And I really do believe that she could bring that youth to the radio station. We already made some changes already for the youth. So those changes will be coming along in January. So once again, I appreciate you coming on board to WSAN Radio.
of course, of course, it's a pleasure.
Now, she asked before we went live. I talked to her yesterday. I think it was, yeah, last night I called her, asked her if she's ready and all that stuff. She said, I'm ready. And she said, "Well, I get the questions at a time." I said, "Absolutely not." How you going to get your questions? Trust me.
I like to
I,
practice. I like
yeah,
to.
I'll have the questions for you. And, uh, and so before we went live, she was saying, You didn't email me the question. I said, didn't you get the memo yesterday? You weren't going to get them? So she was trying to get them. It's not going to work. She could do whatever she wants to do. And I'm steadfast. If I say no, no. That's all this is, just no. But speaking about questions, what moment or experience first sparked your passion for entrepreneurship and community building?
So, entrepreneurship came about for me post, yeah, pre-COVID actually. So in 2019, I actually got let go at Target because apparently I was temporary. And at that time I was in college, preview, I was a sophomore. At that point it's like I just needed some money. So I was Ubering and everything. My mom, she was always on me. She's like, you need a job, you need a job, you need a job. So I was like, okay, in my head, I'm like, I need a job, I need a job. So I was actually going to an interview at this one company. I can't remember the name. Went to the interview, find out they were just wanting me to be in Walmart selling like, paper and pens and stuff. I was like, that's not going to be me. So I actually was in this elevator and I ran into a gentleman, now my mentor. His name is Christian Nuwasu, and he introduced me into life insurance, and not even just life insurance, but entrepreneurship as a whole, and how important it is to have ownership, to be able to rely not only on your job, but on another source of income that you produce, and how it's important to invest, to save, and to build wealth. So that came about to entrepreneurship. And then from there, it's literally been a seed planted in me. And from there, it's been like, okay, how do I do that? First, for a long time, it was like, okay, how do I make money for myself? And I would say roughly about 2023 came about where like, okay, I went from that shift to being about myself to know the how you can, better yourself and, make sure you build yourself is help other build that well. So once I learned that, like the more people you help genuinely that you want to help, the more that you one love it, because I love helping people, rather than marketing, rather it's just something they need, now hosting and sharing their posts, just getting people out there. So when it came to now that we're in 2025, my idea was, we're in San Antonio. I see a lot of posts on Facebook, saying, okay, where's our people at? Where's Black people at? Where are these markets at? Where is all this? And I was in Houston, so it was nothing but successful, entrepreneurs in Houston. I've seen a lot of them. In San Antonio, they're definitely there, but it's like we're hidden. So, I kind of came up with the idea first for notary. I was doing pop-up shops. I was like, I need to get, as a marketing person, I was like, okay, digital marketing is great, but you need to get out there. People need to see your face. People need to trust you. In order for them to trust you, you need to get off of social media. You need to go to networking events. My other mentor, Christian, he always mentioned pop up somewhere. So I was like, well, I literally found an abandoned wall on Walgreens and just, put a tent up there. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do my notary here. And then it just dawned on me, like, I really just wanted to be around other people. I love dancing. I love laughing. I love connecting with people. So the idea came around, well, Qulture Market. And that was produced. Our first debut was at A Chicago Bite, which was amazing. Dr. Crystal Cross was amazing. And I appreciate her. And I thank God that, she fell into my life, to produce, for she was able to help allow me to host that event at her, her restaurant, which she just opened up. So it was a win-win. I was like, I want to make sure I promote her business and what she's doing. It's like a help you, help me situation to where, I bring people to you, allow me to set up here. And, that's just kind of been my motto now, I help you, you help me. At the end of the day, I'm going to make sure I get you out there. Marketing came into my life, when I helped my brother with his business, Mounted Up Residential Commercial Services, where he is a TV mounting. His name is Michael Herring here in San Antonio, well known. And, marketing fell in my lap from there. Our other, person that we know, his name is Carlos. He is a realtor. He actually introduced me to Facebook ads. So that's when I got into marketing. And now it's just like, well, marketing is not just for my business. At first, it was just like, if I know marketing, then I can, open up so many businesses for myself and know how to market. But I was like, how am I going to run 30 different businesses by myself? It's not possible. So I was like, well, instead of just focusing on me, let me help the community and teach them how to market themselves, teach them how to be on social media, teach them how to network. So that's where Qulture Market, and that's where the idea of becoming a marketing person came around as well.
You know, listen to you because I was at a Chicago bike when that happened, and your brother won that big basket, and you
Yes.
told him all I wanted was this. He told you no.
Yes. He
You're
he
not
really
getting
did.
this. So now you know how it feels when somebody tell you no when you told me no. But that's a different story, y'all. That's a we'll get to that later. But she laughing, she know what I'm talking about. All right, growing up on the east side of San Antonio, how did your environment shape the woman you are today?
Oh, let me let me So growing up in San Antonio, especially on the east side, I am a hurricane, Sam Houston all the way, before there were
Oh
Cherokees.
Lord, that's
Unfortunately,
Sharon.
I
Now I
missed
know
that great
why.
era. I missed that great era, the Cherokees. It's okay though. It's okay. But um, it shaped me because there were actual people in Sam. I can't remember all of the educators and people that I went through that actually seen something in me that I didn't see. And I kept going. I didn't I didn't think of college, honestly. I knew that's where somewhere I wanted to go, but it wasn't really something I was looking into. But come around like ninth grade year, it was like encouraged, like, hey, time to look out for college. They really came Miss Scott, that's my advisor. She actually came like, hey, where are you thinking about going? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I want to go to HBCU. So I toured TSU and Prairie View and all that good stuff, and wound up Prairie View. But being on the east side, it shaped me in a way to I see my people. I see what happens on our side, with all the violence and, everything that, we see on the news. But it's also not always gloomy. There are some light in that. You have a lot of people who are very talented, who, want to make something out of themselves and have made something out of themselves. So being that I do know of some people who have made it, I don't want to say made it out because I don't want to make it seem like the East Side is a bad place. At the end of the day, this made a lot of people. Always remember where you come from because that what shaped you. That's what made you want to move forward and be something in life and continue on your path. So, I don't regret. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to be able to be raised in a house. Most people weren't raised in a house. I'm not gonna sit here and say I was homeless. That's just not something that, I was raised in. Some people were. But I was fortunate that my mom was able to put food on the table, clothes on my back, and a roof over my head. And I'm always grateful for that. And, I just wanted to continue being able to do that for my people and continue to grow as a woman and to be, all that I can be so that I can come back to my community and give back because the community gave so much to me. And, I see the downturn that's going on, all the hatred, all the violence, and it's like it doesn't have to be like that. So the whole goal for me is to like, well, let me go do because at the end of the day, money is a tool. I have to go get that so I can bring it back. And knowledge is another tool. I need to go
Mhm.
get the money, get the knowledge so I can come back and bring it to my people and show them, hey, there is a better way. Hey, we don't have to be here. Hey, we can actually build the east side and make it our home. We don't have to move, but we can build it and make it our home, make it who we want it, make it to what we want it to be. So, it just really showed me like the good side and the bad side. And it's like, I kind of just like, hey, I want it to be this. I want it to be this. So how do
Yeah.
I do?
Wow. Boy. All right. So, what habits or disciplines keep you grounded, focused, and moving forward?
So my family knows I am a health fanatic. So I'm very big on health when it comes to food, what I put into my body, what I put on my body. I'm very, very particular about what I listen to. You know, like they say, be careful to little eyes, what you see, be careful what you hear, be careful what you speak. That is me all the way around. So protecting my peace, protecting my energy, you know, sometimes you gotta be careful who you allow around your circle because they can really, you know, they can speak something upon you that is that you don't need in your life, especially depending on the era that you in your life. You know, so you gotta so protecting my peace has always been something has been something I had to learn to become a habit. You know, my wellness, my health. Like when I'm eating food that's not too good for me, I'm sluggish. You know, all the negativity comes into my mind, you know, for oh, you can't do that. You no, that's not gonna be a good fit, you know. So eating right, being able to still move. You know, I have been slacking on not gonna lie, I have been slacking on working out, but you know what, we gonna get back to that. But eating right is always 80% of the journey. And I mean, yeah, always 80% of the journey, and working out is 20%. I did get back into reading. I actually have taken upon myself that to go through an old dictionary. It is very
Uh-oh.
old. So I
That's
actually
the
have
old
gotten
what?
it.
Look at that.
Yes. My mom been having this for years. And I was like, I want to get back into, you know, words because I used to be really good at spelling. And I've noticed lately, like, you know, especially if I'm finna start speaking and being able to speak to, you know, my audience and being on the podcast and on radio station with you, I want to make sure that I implement that habit. So I have gotten into the fact of like reading more, of educating myself more. Another habit that I would call it habit is being creative and being, you know, a dreamer. A lot of people stop dreaming, and you know, and they always say, you know, your dreams are only dreams, but you can make your dreams a reality 100%. You know, you just
Yeah.
got to put in the effort into making that. So I always stay open-minded. I'm never closed-minded. You know, you may not agree with what I want, you may not agree with me and I may not agree with you, but I'm gonna be open to what you're saying because what you're saying, all of it may not be something that I can use, but maybe that one thing that, you know, I can use. So being open-minded, you know, eating the right things, you know, reading, you know, make sure you're make sure you continue educating yourself. And another habit, I would say that financial habits. So over the past 2 years, finances have definitely been a rocky situation for me, and this year has really it has improved significantly. And I would say the only reason why it improved is because one of my hairstylist, Bree, she actually told me about 2 years ago, you won't be given more until you're able to handle what you have. So being a good steward of your money. So
Yes.
another habit that I had to embody. And this year really has improved because, you know, I've been blessed with revenue. So it's like, well, if I want more, I need to know, hey, have different accounts, you know, have your investment account, have your savings account, you know, have your spending account, have your bill account, have an account where all your money goes and it just distributes to it by automatically. Because if you don't have that and you see all that money in your account, you're gonna have the urge to go spend it. Trust me, I know. You're gonna have the urge. So those are
as,
the main habits.
as we say, burn a hole in your pocket. You don't
Yes.
need nothing. You're gonna buy. Because I always tell everybody, is it a need or is it a want?
Right.
You know. So
Right.
before we get, I'm gonna get away from these questions. This is gonna be time for us to talk in candid. But it's one question that I want to ask you. Let me see. I had it pulled up here. Oh, here it is. How does faith guide your decision as an entrepreneur?
Whew. It's everything. Not even just having faith in yourself, but having faith in the creator. At the end of the day, you cannot move without the creator. You cannot breathe without the creator. And you won't be gifted a vision without the creator. And you also have to have faith in yourself. If your goal is to go, you know, work out, you have to be able to have the faith that you are capable of doing it. There's no such thing as that you're not capable of doing anything or whatever you want. There's no such thing. It's just that you lack the faith in yourself and you lack the faith in God that you are not capable. Once you have faith down, the only thing you have left to make that come true is the execution. Faith without work is dead. So both go hand in hand, but you have to have the vision. If you don't have the vision, how do you know where you're going? If you don't have the faith in yourself, then it won't happen. If you don't have the faith into your business, into whatever you are doing, to whatever you are creating, then it won't happen. It won't bloom. If you don't have faith in God, everything else is just it's wiped off. It's just wiped off.
Yeah.
You have to have faith in God and you have to have faith in yourself. Those are impeccable in business because what a lot of people don't talk about, you see on social media the fruit from your labor, but a lot of people don't talk about the labor behind the scenes of what happens. You have a lot going down in business. Like for me, notary, I have had some challenges. For one, learning. You gotta educate yourself. You gotta educate on the Texas laws. Because you don't want to go and notarize something and it doesn't have all the information. And next thing you know, you say in a courthouse. You have to educate
Yeah.
yourself. You have to. And there are challenges that other people go through, as far as personal, rather it's business. Business is not just it's not easy. Business is not easy. Because you not only have to balance the your thoughts, but you have to balance other people's thoughts of you and what you're doing.
All
So
right. We'll finish with all those questions. I mean, I got
I'm
about
on
30
and
more.
on.
I got
Go.
about 30 more, but I just pick and choose which one that fits what we're talking about right now. The other part is that you're coming on board with WSN Radio, and you blew me away on Sunday when you came in and you seen all that equipment on the table. Your eyes lit up like, said, "What in the world is this?" And I said, this, that, this, that, that. She was watching me doing things, and I threw out the right. I said, well, go ahead and do this on the laptop and this and this. I'm sitting back doing other things. She was doing this, doing that, and we were sitting down there. So when we first signed on, we walked out front, got on the camera, introduced ourselves at A Chicago Bite. And as I was talking to her, we were doing a sweet potato pie contest. We were getting ready to do it. And I asked her, you gonna vote for me? She said, no. See, that's where that no came from. I was going to tell you. I said, I'll lead into, I said, what? You told me no? How dare you? Give me that mic. But we were there doing that. And we went around talking and, just having fun. So I was sitting down there because I asked you one thing. She said, I want some greens. So at the time, my wife pulled up, so I got her waffles and chicken. I got 2 things of greens. We sit down there eating it, and she got fast. Said, hey, why don't you go up and say something on the mic? She gave me that look like, are you sure? Yeah, going up there. I didn't have no problem throwing out there to the wolves. Hey, go. She went up there and said, I said, here's this button right here. Slide this down. Do this, do that. I got up, shoulder, boom, boom, boom. Now I sat back, but right back down, and I let her do her thing. Yes, she was a little shaky, but she got it out. So, and then I explained to her, um, I said, you going to have a podcast very soon. I already told her she's going to have one because I really full believe that she's got something to offer to the public and she's got a lot to say. You heard her right now. And I really truly do believe that I can get you started on that journey. And once you start that journey, you trust me, you will not look back. You will keep on going because all the stuff that you was timid about and scared about the past couple of weeks, that's gone. That's gone. So you yourself, we talked about faith. That's that part that people don't like doing. Take that leap of faith. And when you do your first show, that's going to be a leap of faith for you. So, how do you feel about that? You got butterflies, bats, whatever flying around in your stomach when that day comes up?
Absolutely. You know, you gotta face fear head on. There's nothing that I jumped into that I wasn't scared of, but that didn't mean that I backed down from it. Everything that you start, you're gonna be scared of it. You're gonna fear, you're gonna have some uncertainty because you're not confident in it. But it takes you doing something 1,000 times for you to be comfortable in your skin and yourself. to be fully confident about it. That shouldn't stop you. That should, if anything, encourage you. I had to learn to love fear. So just moving forward from that. So when that time does come, oh yeah, I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna be like, Uncle Ron, can you help me? And you probably gonna tell me no, because you're gonna remember the sweet potato challenge.
No, I won't do that to you. I will help you out. Then I'll go back and talk about that. But
But
no,
yeah, I'm gonna be very excited for that moment, and I'm definitely gonna take a picture and post it on the wall and just be able to, have a testimony on that. So
well, let me tell you what this young lady sat up there and told me. She said, I want to come to your events. I want to learn how to put everything together. I want to do this. So I went on and shared my calendar with her, and she'll see everything I got going on. And she said she wants to come from the start to see how everything is hooked up. And so I said, fine, I don't have no problem in that. Because once you start doing your own podcast, it's a scaled down version of what you're going to need to hook up. But you got to be able to troubleshoot and work on the fly if something happens. Just like, for instance, this week, my one mic just went out. It didn't give me a reason or what. I'm up there, I'm just a talking. And then at the end, I look over and I noticed that my meter wasn't moving when I was talking. I said, what's going on here? Oh, right away, people was chiming in. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. And, and so I knew right away. I went on, boom. I always keep an extra mic next to me. I broke it out, boom. The next break, we were right there. So that's the type of thing you got to be ready to work on. And a lot of people don't see that behind the scenes. You got to work on that. And for you that want to come out there and see how things work, I don't have a problem with it. Just bring me a cup of coffee and I'll be good. I'm just kidding, but I don't have a problem with that. I think everybody should learn from the ground up on anything. If you go into a job and you want to be the head person in charge and you have never done it, nobody's going to take you serious.
right.
If you've done it before and you could show, as my grandmother always said, I could show you better than tell you. So if you could show them that you know how to do it, you'll have that respect from them. So if you learn from the ground up and work your way up, then you're good. You could conquer anything. So with that being said, what would you think will be your challenges going into learning how to do all this? Is this something new to you? I'm asking several questions.
Mhm.
And if it is new to you, are you up for the challenge?
So my challenge is not going to be the computers. It's not going to be learning how to, navigate the different systems. My challenge is going to be able to stand in the front fort and speak, to engage in the audience, because I'm a very shy person. I'm very to myself, kept to myself, and but it's time for me to open up that shell and get out there, because as y'all can hear, I do have a lot to say, and so much. Like, he's asking me questions. I can sit here and answer questions all day long. That's easy. That's why interviews are really easy for me. But for me to actually speak, to see Ron actually do that in action, he's actually engaging into the audience, that's going to be something I have to really get comfortable in myself, do it, plenty of times. So that's going to be one challenge for me. Is this new to me? Yes and no, because I have created content for my notary business. But far as actually engaging in an audience and actually speaking, to an audience versus business, absolutely, definitely something extremely new to me. Learning the ins and out, the cameras, the lights, the microphones, the music. Yes, podcasting is totally new to me. And, moving forward, I mean, just because it's new doesn't mean it's not right for me. So in my case, this is right. This is where I need to be. And, I always thought that I was going to be the person in the background, doing the marketing, do the camera, but it has become very clear to me that I'm definitely in the front person. So, I'm just super excited for that as well. So,
You know, I always say I'm the front person, but I'm behind the scenes. And so I said, how's that possible? You're right there in front of everybody. But if anybody know me, once I'm finished talking, I go sit my little butt down right there and I observe the audience, and I don't get out there and put it this way. There's a way of reporting news and making the news. A
Mhm.
good reporter will report the news.
Mhm.
A bad reporter will report the news and try to make it news the way he wants to make it,
Mhm.
without letting the news just go ahead and play his own. He wants to add things to it and try to build it up. And sometimes it works, but most times that's your biggest failure.
Yeah.
If you just report the news as is,
Mhm.
like I said, nobody care about your damn opinion on that. They'll give their opinion. No, you report the news. But
Right.
that's just me. I'm old school, which brings me to this. I think what you said one time when we were talking, and believe me, I listened to you, when you said sometimes the youth need to be heard, and we don't have that platform because the older generation think we ought to sit back in the corner and be quiet and observe. And when you said that, oh, that opened my eyes up right. I said, oh no, 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 no. I want to hear what y'all have going on. I want to know because with the youth there, they could probably solve problems right now. I think I told you this before. The worst word that I hate out of anything in the world, and I use the word hate, is somebody ask somebody to tell you something. So, oh, it's complicated. No, it's not. You made it complicated. Just let us know what it is, because when they use the word complicated, that means I'm not telling you anything. That's how I see it.
Mhm.
And I don't like the word complicated. And the youth sure don't like the word complicated, because y'all come out and just tell it like it is, and that's what we want. So after I said that, now am I in the right direction, young lady, or do I still need to do a little bit more work with y'all youth?
I think you need a little now. No, you're definitely in the right direction. Like I mentioned, we're so separate. But and I study a lot of, other ethnicities and, definitely look at the African heritage and, elders pass down their traditions and pass down their knowledge to, the youth. And, I don't see it here a lot. And, it breaks my heart because the older generation, y'all have all the wisdom. Y'all have all the wisdom. Y'all may not know everything, but the basics and the foundation that us as youth need, y'all have. And, as you continue to grow, WSAN radio, it's important to know all the different types of technology. Well, the youth, we're technology, from social media to AI, that is our language, that's our world. And there's a lot of things that we have learned because now we have the knowledge, and we have access to the knowledge. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Back in that time, there wasn't access. Y'all didn't have a lot of access to the knowledge. Now we have the books, we have the AI, we have the computers, we have the internet, and it's like combine those two together, we'll be unstoppable. But we have to get back into the we have to get back into the way of the elders teach the young ones, and we pass it on for generations and generations. People love to talk about generational wealth when it comes to money, but it's not just money. It's generational knowledge. It's generational obviously wealth, generational health. What do you know? Who do you know? You're not just passing down money. You have to pass down the knowledge in order for us to sustain that money. There's no
Yeah.
point of passing you. There's no point of passing down $1 million to the next generation if they don't know what to do with $1 million. By the time a year or two when they get it, the $1 million will be gone, and then that generation's wealth dies. So it's like knowledge is important. So we definitely have to get back in the habit as a culture to pass that knowledge down and be able to come together and talk about it, come up with new ideas, hear each
Hmm.
other out. I believe this generation is very hard-headed. We don't like to listen. We think, the older generation don't know anything, but y'all do know a lot. And in the older generation, oh, y'all just young ones, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. But we do have knowledge, So it's just important that we come together and we reunite because we are better together than we are individuals.
Yeah, you said it right there, because My generation can be hard headed. I tell you, they can be hard headed. Boy, did I tell you, sit down somewhere, I'm not telling you anything. And that's the last thing we need to do with our youth is that right there. And on the flip side, the youth need to stop looking at us like old fogies and we don't know what we're doing. You know, oh, we did a pretty good job of raising y'all, you know, and we got to combine that together. And I think 2026 is where the test is going to come. You probably know where I'm going with this, but 2026 is the baby boomers are dying out, and there's nobody, no one set to take the place of the baby boomers. But we have the youth. That is the biggest voting block out there right now that has not been tapped. So we got to get a way to get the youth involved in voting. I don't care which way you vote. It doesn't bother me. I just want you to get out there and vote and know the issues of what's going on. Because one thing I told somebody, an older gentleman, he said, I'm not going to vote. I said, you have grandkids and kids? Yeah. Well, you need to get out and vote. Why? Because you're voting on the future. What you're voting right now is what you're going to place that's going to be in the future. So if the election is today, whatever you voted for, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to go into effect right away. It's going to take time for it to go into effect. So it's going to affect the future of your grandkids, their kids, and their grandkids. It trickles down. So when you think voting doesn't matter, it does. And I'm hoping with me and this young lady teaming up right now that we will find that common bond between the very seasoned elderly and the youth. We should find that common bond to come together. And that's what we lack in bringing it together. And I am praying that bringing you on board, we could do something. Like I used to teach. So I asked this one teacher, so what is the reward of teaching? If you touch one student, you did your job. I said, you kidding me? You got 30 people in that classroom, but if you touch one, you did your job. Just like with voting, if we touch one to go vote, then that one would tell somebody else, and going down the line. We got to spread it like it's social media. As people understand social media, me and Kenya right here, we're friends on social media. So if I put something and she share it, then one of her friends share it, and one of her friends share it. All of a sudden, you got the domino effect that's going through that somebody done seen that post. A lot of people have seen that post. We got to do the same thing about voting. We got to learn how to touch that one and move it on. So that's where next year gonna come into play. That I'm gonna be more vocal about voting, what they need to do, and that's where we need to be. And Kenya, I'm putting you on the spot. I am depending on you to get the youth out there. I'm depending on you to say, on Ron, we need to have a forum with the youth. I got the place already. You say, tell me when, and it's there. So, so the place is already taken care of. All right. It's now the time and what we're going to talk about to bring the youth together. And I'm throwing the ball back in your court.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you on that. I'm gonna go on a deeper scale because I used to be one of those, people who don't vote at all. And I thought it was because, I felt like voting doesn't matter. And it's not that voting doesn't matter. It's just like who sometimes the candidate that they put in front of us does not match our needs. And what comes with that is like, well, we have to be, people, not everyone is political, and that's understandable. But being that I have been in commercial real estate and, that's all it is. You need to know what's going on. You know, you need to know what's going on, where you're at, what's going on in the world. You need to be active because on the news, they're not going to tell you everything. That's when it comes down to a deeper level. Like, hey, you need to know what's going on because how do you know who to vote for if you don't have the knowledge on why you're voting for that person? I don't believe in blind voting. Like, I'm just not going to vote for this person because they're Democrats or because they're Republican. I'm going to vote because this person's actually looking to effect change here. And, that's important for the youth, especially if this is the generation and we're voting for that. It's important that we stay in tune to what's going on and that we make a plan together and we come together as one. And like, if we want to have someone else, in office, then we need to push that. If there's something else that we want in there, then we need to push for that. One thing I learned about our generation is we don't have no filter. We don't hold back nothing. We say everything that we want to say, and we're gonna tell you how we feel. It may not be in the most pleasant way, and we definitely need to work on that. But being that we're so bold and so open, then we should be the same way when it comes to what we want in our community and what we want out of life.
So with that being said, we also need to get behind some youth who want to run for office.
There we go.
That's what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Yep. That we need to get together with that right there and put some youth right there. And,
Yes.
and win or lose, it will be a learning experience. So
Yeah.
let's say you win. That's telling the people right now, oh, we're in the wrong direction. We
Mhm.
got to insert some new blood in what we're doing right now because we're still doing the status quo.
Mhm.
And
Definitely.
somewhere along the line, that has to be changed. The cycle, it's got to be broken. As long as we in this cycle right here, we're gonna continue doing the same dumb stuff. I use the word dumb and I mean it because some of the stuff they come up with, they tried in the 1960s, they tried again in the 80s, and they tried again. If it failed back then, what makes things gonna pass right now? You
Right.
gotta think of things new on
Mhm.
how to draw people in to do things for you. So when you're ready to run, let me know. I'll be your campaign manager.
Oh, no, 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 no. Dude. I
But
do it.
we need to get youth involved in there. We need to get some youth in there to vote. Find out what their age is. Oh, another thing. Besides that, talking about behind the scenes, I am an election judge for Bear County. Now they always looking for judges for that. You looked at me like, huh? Yeah. So I am that, and the reason why I became one because I want to see when they were talking about how it was cheating and all that stuff. And I said, well, I was going to go and be a clerk. I said, you know what? I'm going to go in and be a judge. And the test is not easy. I'll tell you that right now. It's not easy. But I did it and I recertified and passed the first time around. So I did it. So I think a lot more of our people need to step up and become clerks and election judges. You do not need to have any type of I mean, I don't think, yeah, high school diploma. You don't have to be any college in that stuff. Basically, the thing boils down to one thing good old common sense.
Mm.
And that's it. So you could be a judge too.
Okay. If
Look,
that's that, if that's
she got quiet
I'm a
right there.
hard critic. I'm a hard critic. I don't think I'm a hard.
Well, I got in there and I spoke my piece when I got in there. I was just saying, I know I wasn't going to change anything, but um, the only way changes go if you voice your opinion and you
Right.
voice your opinion among other people who think, yeah, that sounds good. So that's how things get going. But that's the problem. Here it is. You ready for it?
Mhm.
People are afraid to voice their opinion because of the status quo. They don't want to upset nobody.
Mhm.
I'm the firm of faith and belief said, forget that. Say what's on your mind. I'm like y'all baby boomers. I have no filter. You've been around me long enough to know I have no filter.
No,
I
you
just
don't.
say it. And that's the problem right now. We're too busy thinking about, okay, if I do this, somebody gonna think like this about me. And so nobody's gonna like you. Everybody's not gonna like you. You're doing what the people put you in office to do, to represent them. And I think we're losing that connection right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So, but so let me see what we got go. Oh boy. All right, young lady. The rest of the show is yours. I want you to tell everybody how to get a hold of you, what you're doing, talk about your Qulture Market and all that good stuff, and how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So to again contact with me, my notary page is at Key to Notary Services. Then you can find that on Facebook, also on Instagram, and we're also on Google for Key to Notary Services. And it's 2TO, not the number 2. For Qulture Market will be my personal page at the moment. So it's going to be Keyonia Herring. So Keyonia. Last name Herring, like the fish. Herring. Phone number as well is 210-330-2308 for all your notary needs. And I'm also looking to fill up a vendor list as well. So for my creators, my artists, if you're looking to be at our next Qulture Market event, next year is going to be a blast. Unfortunately, I had to postpone this one. It's only because there was a better vision that, the creator gifted to me. So, and it requires some more patience. So I'm definitely in the market for more creators and artists. So you can always get in contact through me on Facebook and as well via phone.
Oh, wow. You said that all in one breath. All right. We appreciate you coming on the show today. It means a lot. And I want to let everybody know this young lady gonna sacrifice her Saturday on December 6th, and she's gonna meet me over at the Second Baptist Church for Kwanzaa. Mm-hmm. By the way, I got your shirt ordered already. So she's gonna be over there with me. She wants to know how this thing's set up, and she's gonna co-host with me. Absolutely. So she's seen how I operate already, and there are gonna be a lot of vendors there we're gonna talk to and all that good stuff. And I really do appreciate you stepping up and coming out there. And maybe I get to sit back and relax for 5 minutes, let you do your thing and don't do nothing.
Oh, I don't know about that, but not this time around. Not this time around.
All right, I'm just checking. All right, young lady, we're gonna meet you in a little bit down the line. But again, I appreciate you coming on board.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, everybody, that's here, right here. This is DJ Ron G on WSAN Radio with my special guest, Keyonia, is here. Until Monday morning at 7 p.m., as I say all the time, peace and chicken grease. I catch everybody bright and early Monday morning at 7 a.m. DJ Ron G, I'm out. Thank you for tuning in to WSAN Radio. Catch us on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button.